I'm Brittany.
And I'm Heather.
Welcome to Okayest Moms, the podcast.
A place to be more than just mom.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another miniature episode of Okayest Moms, the podcast. Brittany here.
And Heather. Hello. Back with more of our shameful stories.
Hey, if we all have shameful stories, then it takes the shame away, right? That's how that
Totally. All right, what you got for us today?
Oh, mine involves a pet that none of us really wanted. Well, none of the adults in the house really wanted. Last 4th of July, my kids, we always go to my husband's grandmother's get together thing with her community. And they always, well, let me back up a little bit. The tradition was this place has a pool, and they would dump like hundreds of goldfish directly into the pool, and kids would swim around and like grab them with their bare hands. It is the weirdest tradition ever. Apparently, PETA had something to say about it, and they had to change it up in recent years, and now it's diving for coins, and then if you get a certain coin, then you win a beta fish. And I'm like,
I don't think it was PETA. I think it was the pool maintenance guys who were like, listen, this is fucked
they
up.
did it for decades. I'm like, what? Going on here? But like I said,
that's white people for you.
So ridiculous. And so now it is diving for coins, and if you get a special gold coin or whatever the color was, then you get to pick out a beta fish that is safely in a cup far away from the pool. And I'm like, okay, great. My kids are not strong swimmers. They'll never get one of these coins. Let's do it. Well, Sully surprised us all and was able to dive for one of his coins and won a beta fish. This was like right after we got 2 cats. So I was like, why are we adding another animal to this house? But Tyler was excited about it. I'm like, fine, it's all on you. Like, this is your job. I am not cleaning a tank. I am not feeding it. Like, this is all you guys. And for the most part, they did a good job, except I think, I mean, not to throw anyone under the bus, but the cleaner of the tank was getting a little lax in his technique. And I feel bad saying this because he does feel bad about it, but the day after after he cleaned it, the fish was floating at the top, and we saw it when both the boys were like around and they hadn't noticed, and so we just left it until they went to bed, and then Tyler disposed of the fish. And I like just what did not feel like having what was to be an emotional conversation with these kids who really did nothing to even take care of this fish. So like I just left it until they noticed. And we went 4 days before they even looked at the tank like, "Oh, where's Flop?" I'm like, "You 4 days. 4 days." And so that was actually a great lead in like, "Oh, you didn't even notice that he wasn't there for that long. Like, what do you think that says?" He's anyway, so I just it ended up not even being that bad of a conversation, but I think it made him realize.
Use that next time they ask for a pet. Remember when your fish died 4 days before you
Fully
noticed?
intend to do that. And 4th of July is coming up again, and if they want to do that stupid competition, I'm going to be like, "Remember what happened before?"
Honestly, you know who's going to be more upset? Is Isla.
Oh.
She's going to be very upset.
Oh gosh, she did love that fish, huh? Ugh. Well, I'm glad to have the counter space back.
Yeah. Mine is not really so much of like a story, just like a level of parenting I've unlocked, I guess, which I didn't want to, but here we are. So now that I'm working full time, I'm getting obviously like a different flavor of motherhood. I thought since my kids were older and I'm mostly working during a time where I wasn't seeing them anyway, that I wouldn't really feel guilty about anything or like I was missing out on anything because I'm still there for all of the things. But in order to make mornings go a little bit more smoothly, I'm no longer making lunches, and AJ is doing that. And just like a couple other things, like other like small shifts have been taken from my plate and given to him. And I don't know why, but it makes me feel guilty because that's something that I always have done. And it just, maybe not guilty, it just feels weird to not be in charge of a fairly important aspect of their life anymore. And, but, and I think the only reason I was aware of it is because AJ's not packing lunches the same way I would. And guess who gets blamed for everything? Guess who gets the brunt of that? Every day, Mr. Picky, Nolan, has come up to me and said, "Why did you put this in my lunch?" And I go, "Guess what? That wasn't me. That was dad. So if you've got a problem, you take it up with him." But it's also been really good because AJ has now realized how picky Nolan really is. And so many days he's been standing in the kitchen, like, I don't know what else to put in this kid's lunch. He doesn't eat anything. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've been in this, standing in that exact place in the kitchen, saying those exact words. And it's very frustrating. And so it just, in some ways, it feels really good to kind of share that mental load of what does this child eat with him in a way where he like is deeply understanding it, whereas before it was just like, yeah, whatever, like somebody will figure that out. But also, like, it feels weird to give that up and not be a part of it. But also, I don't care.
Also, it's going well.
Right. It's going really well for me. So it just feels really weird. And then it started to make me think of all the other things that working moms have to let go of, like working full time outside of the house moms. And it just, I don't know, like, of course, I always knew it was different and things were done differently, but it's also made me see how you just have to let things go more and be a little less hands on. And that's not always a bad thing because there are other people who can do these things. And just because they don't do it the same way you would do it doesn't make it
Always the
wrong.
biggest hurdle.
And I mean, Nolan would say it's wrong, but that's a problem between them now. And um, honestly, like it's just reduced my stress in a lot of ways that I would not have anticipated because it's just like not available for me to worry about anymore. And so, which is like I've taken on other stresses that, but they're none of them compared to the stress of dealing with your own children 100% of the time. And it's just a weird realization.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The first story we have is from our guest, Jen Brookover. She was in episode 127, Why Local Politics Are Important.
So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking like anytime I just let the routine go out the window, or anything like that, because we do need a routine and a schedule and stuff like that. But I feel like when I've done a yes day, that is like a lot of parents look at that and go, "What?" And I'm like, "Well, they know within reason. Like we can't just be like, let's go to Hawaii," and So, but I do, which they ask crazy things, but I do a yes day with them, and it's every now and then, and it's fun for me because I didn't realize how much I say no until I do a yes day. So anytime where I show the kids they have a little bit of control, they think they have control. I think that would be a good moment because they are like, "What is she doing? Like she's letting us do this, And I'm like, "Yes, you can have that for breakfast." They're like, "Oh," So they think they're in control a little bit, and it's fun. We don't do them often, but we do them from
My
time to
kids
time.
have been begging for a yes day, and they would 100% ask for a trip to Hawaii or
Oh
Disneyland.
yeah, yeah. They ask. Well, they don't have a concept, even though they've been on planes going across the country, because almost every summer, except during the pandemic, we fly, to Pennsylvania to see friends and family. They know it's a full day of traveling. They know that we have to get on a different flight and it's a long day. Yet they're like, can we go back to Philly tomorrow? I'm like, no, like they just want to like snap their fingers and go. So yeah.
This one was anonymously submitted. Today's Okayest Mom moment inspired by Kim Zolciak Bierman of Bravo reality TV fame, whose house is now in
Yeah,
foreclosure.
she
Did
had
you
a
hear
house
this?
in Atlanta, a mansion.
I don't recommend it. It's god awful. I stumbled upon her Snapchat while eating at kindergarten pickup with my 2-year-old in the back seat. While Kim likes to use a lot of profanity, as soon as she said the F word, I immediately exited out of watching it, but obviously not soon enough. Now my little angel can't stop saying fucking and enunciating every letter. I asked her not to say it anymore and she started crying, so whatever. Say it, little darling. Say it all you want.
Oh God. Kim. Kim.
We are currently in a bullshit phase in our house. Anything that happens in a video game is bullshit.
I mean, I agree. All right, our next one is from Kelly, who is in episode 123, Rookie Mistakes with Kelly Bandis.
I've been thinking about this, and I think the most okayest mom moment I ever had was when I still had just two boys. One was 3 and one was, 9 months or something. And I told my 3-year-old to watch the baby on the changing table, which they tell you to never do. But I was just going to brush my teeth. It was just going to be a second. And of course, I'm brushing my teeth. I have a mouthful of toothpaste and I hear a loud crash. And my 3-year-old has tried to climb up on the changing table to sing to the 9-month-old and has pulled the whole changing table down. So they're in a baby heap on the ground. And so, like a new mom does, I put them in the car and drive them to the pediatrician's office, tell them my sob story, make sure they don't have concussions or whatever. And they were fine. And, no one was no worse for the wear, but don't leave your baby on the changing table is the moral of the story. They will fall off.
They will. It's just physics.
It's basic physics.
But what a sweet brother trying to just sing.
I know. He hasn't changed at all. He's still just that sweet.
Aww. Next up is another anonymous. People are scared to put their name in. Okay. So you know how most mornings with little kids are a struggle? Well, my sleep schedule is really whack because I work 3 night shifts a week, so it's not ever easy for me to get up before the kids to set us up for success. Add in one kid who loves to sleep in and can be a total turd, especially on Mondays after a weekend of leisurely mornings. Yesterday morning, he was ridiculous. My boys' school does curbside kid drop off, and we have to be there by 8:20. I thought we might barely make it, so I went for it, totally unprepared for an appearance in the office to fill out a late slip. We got there at 8:21 and had missed the teacher's aide who waits for the kids. I was barefoot, no bra, and wearing boxers as pajama shorts. Good thing my hair is long enough right now to cover my sagging boobs. Definitely one of my finest Okayest Mom moments. I'm not that easily embarrassed, and my kids are still young enough to not be fazed, but I'll never let that happen again. I'll at least wear shoes.
Was this submitted by Sullivan?
Right. Oh my God. These stories are so great. Please keep them coming. And you can hear your Okayest Mom moment on the podcast. You can submit yours by going to okayestmoms.com/OMM.
If you like what you just heard, and we hope you do, you can find more of us online at www.okayestmoms.com. We're also on all social media platforms, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Okayest Moms Blog. Or if you want to, you can send us an email at hey@okayestmoms.com.